Sherline products. In this video, we're going to go over how to set your tool length offset and how to set up your work part positions. I just turned on the machine. I'm going to take care of the e-stop. I'm going to punch in the password. Then I'm going to home out the machine. So Control-Alt-Home on the keypad. Homes out the Z-axis, homes out the X-axis, homes out the Y-axis. Now, if you look at the screen, right now the computer thinks it has tool number 1 in there, which I've already set. Also, the position that's shown right here for X and Y are the positions for our work offset number G54. The G54 work offset is already put in here for the middle of this part that we were running. What I'd like to do is start from scratch or somewhat from scratch. So if you look up here, you can see that tool number 0 is nothing. So what I'm going to do is go to the Program MDI page, and I'm going to click on MDI. And right now I'm going to tell them the control that I'm going to put tool number 0 in here. So I'm just going to go T0, MO6 and 06, enter. And it's going to move to my tool change position, and it's going to show up red here and tell me to change the tool. To do that, I just click on the cycle start button here. Move back to the home position, and right now it's saying tool 0. So the Z offset amount for tool 0 is 0. Okay, I'm going to click on this for my MDI to activate it again. To activate MDI, you either click on this or you can click on the MDI screen if it's still open. To get rid of it, you just click escape and it gets rid of the page. So I'm going to put MDI back up here again. What I'm going to do right now is just to show you, we're going to get rid of the MDI page. I'm going to go to jog. Right now I've got my X and Y. I'm going to zero out X and Y. So those are 0. As the machine actually uses workstation or work position G53 is what it's going by for where the machine 0 is. So right there is machine 0, which is what it would be in G53. If I go to the jog page, I go to continuous, and I just jog my 3 axes off of their positions. Okay. Z down, Y minus, X minus. And now if I go back to Program and MDI, if I punch in G53, G00, X0, Y0, Z0, it should go to my machine 0 points. I hit enter, and it's moving all 3 axes, and they're all zeroed out. So that is my machine 0, and the screen is showing the same. I'm going to get out of my MDI mode. What I'm going to do right now, if I go over to the tool page, my tools are set up. I've got a 1/4 inch end mill, which is tool number 1. I've got a 3/8 inch end mill, which is tool number 2. I have a 1/4 inch spot drill, which is tool number 3, and I have a 1/16 ball end mill, which is tool number 4. I like using these holders whenever possible because I can easily measure my lengths on my tools. If I'm going to change tools, if one of them breaks or it gets dull and I'm going to change them out, I can get my new heights pretty close or know how much they're off by just by measuring them with calipers from the surface that locates on the shoulder of the spindle to the tip of the tool when it's in the holder. So the first tool we're going to touch off is going to be my 1/4 inch end mill, and make sure that the mounting surfaces are clean. Mounting surface on your spindle is clean. Any chips that you get on this surface or the surface of your spindle are going to, for one, they're going to cause run out of your tool holder, and for 2, they're going to damage the mating surface of your spindle and holder, which is going to ruin your spindle and your holder. Okay, I generally get it close and then spin it on. Okay, if I was cutting with this, I would use the Tommy bars and cinch it down good and tight. Because I'm just getting a tool offset right now, I'm just going to go finger tight. That's good enough. Now I'm going to go back to the jog page. Okay, what I'm going to do for all my offsets, this surface right here, which is the top of my stock, is going to be Z0 for all of my tools. So right now I'm going to just jog over to a point on here where I can touch it easily. That's good. Remember now, when I let off my finger on the jog, when on continuous, it does continue to drift like that. So when I get close, I want to stop so I don't harpoon my part. I'm going to move it down in the Y a little bit more, over in the X a little bit. So that's good right there as far as where I want to touch off on my parts. I'm using a 1,000th piece of shim stock. You can use a business card. If you measure the business card and it measures 8,000ths or 5,000ths or whatever, as long as you know what the thickness is, then I'm just going to come down and I'm going to touch off each one of my tools on the top surface here. So looking at my gap, I'm guessing I'm about 100,000ths off. So right now I'm going to go into step mode and I'm going to pick 10,000ths. So each time I click on the Z minus button, it's going to bring the Z axis down 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I can see light under there still. I'm going to go one more. That's 100,000ths. 110, I'm getting pretty close. 20, 30. Right now, it's pretty close. I'm going to switch from 10,000ths increments to 1,000ths increments up here, and it highlights it in green. Okay, now I'm going to start bringing it down, and each time I click it down one, I'm going to pull my shim stock to see if it's rubbing yet. You just move your shim stock in and out, and keep on clicking it down 1 thou at a time until it rubs. Right there, I'm starting to get a rub. Right there, I definitely have a rub. So that's got my 1,000 shim stock pinched right there. So that's where my offset's going to be for tool number 1. If I go to tool number 1 and I double click on it, right here it's got the name of my tool, you can punch that in. Then the Z offset, I'm going to click here, and right now I'm just going to click 0. So just punched in, just put in minus 6.90196. And my tool, I've got it at 0.2490. It's a thou undersize. I'm going to click save, and that's going to put that number in up here. If I go back to my program page, I've got minus, on the Z, I've got minus 6.9020, and put in minus 6.90196, which is pretty much, it rounds off to minus 6.902. So I just got my Z offset for my first tool, and we just walk through and do the same for the next tools. Okay, so if I go back to my jog page, okay, now I can go to continuous, I'm going to hit Z up. I'm going to go to a clearance point. What I'd like to do in this case is go to MDI again, and it has go to home and Z axis right here. So I'm going to go to home and Z axis, and now it's going to go to my G53 machine 0 point. All right, now I'm going to take this tool out. That one's done. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, the next tool is my 3/8. Again, I wipe off my mating surface. Put it up here, thread it on. Now I'm going to hit escape to get rid of the MDI page. I'm going to go back to jog again. It's in continuous. I'm going to bring it down until I get close. And again, it drifts close enough. Don't want to crash. We're going to go to steps, and we're going to go 100 thousandths, and I'm going to go minus. That's looking pretty close. All right, so now I'm going to go to 10, put my shim stock underneath the tool again. Actually, I'll look for, I can see when it gets close just by the light under the tool for starts. So we'll start clicking it down at 10 thou per increment. That's pretty close. All right, gonna get it under there. That's one more. Now I'm gonna switch to 1 thou increments instead of 10 thou. And I'm gonna start bringing it down until it touches again. Right there, I've got a grab. I'm gonna go one more. That's still going right there. Okay, so that's the touch for my 3/8. I go back to my F4 tool page. I call it my 3/8 end mill. It highlights it. I double click on it. Again, it's got my name, 3/8 carbide end mill. I go to the Z offset and just click on it there, and I hit 0. And it puts in the number from my position screen as that being my 0 point. I go down here and I hit save. It saves it. I go back to my position screen, minus 6.7957. Go back up here, minus 6.79566. Close enough. I'm going to go back to my jog page. I'm going to go to continuous. I'm going to jog it up a little bit. That gets me my shim stock back. Now if I go to the program and MDI page, click on MDI, and I go to home Z, and that sends that tool home. All right. Then when we do the same thing with the remaining tools, I don't want to go through all that with you, but you just touch each of them off on that surface, and all the tools will then be set. So the next one is you want to find your home position. We've got the MDI screen. I'm going to hit escape to get rid of that. The home position for this one is dead center of the part. We're going to use an edge finder to find the center of our part here. This is a 3/8 shank edge finder. At the end of it is 200 thousandths diameter. It might be a little bit snug fitting into our end mill holders because they are kept nice and tight so that the end mills run out with the best concentricity. So this one goes in nice and easy. This set screw, you just want to go, just barely snug, just nothing at all really. There's no real force on this, and you don't want to damage your edge finder. So again, we clean the mating surface, and I thread it on. That guy's on right there. To use an edge finder, the best RPM is 2000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edge find the front of this and move to center, and I'm going to edge find the side of this and move to center, and we're going to make that our G54 part 0 position. So if I measure my finished part, let's say I want to go in and remachine this again, I'll make sure it's dead on. I've got 3.630. So half of that would be 1.815. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to jog mode. My screen is still set up at 0. I'm on tool number 0. I'm on continuous. I'm going to go minus. Next minus. I'm going to bring the Z down. minus. I just want to have it so that this portion of the edge finder is touching on that surface when I bring it in. So I'm going to go over the Y a little bit. I'll bring it down just a hair. That looks good right there. Now I'm going to go to the MDI page and I'm going to put in 2,000 RPMs on the block right there. Then I'm going to turn my spindle on. Okay, and we're at 2,000. Okay, the way the edge finder works, if I push it off, okay, when it touches a surface, it's running out right now. It'll go from running out to running dead true. And then when I get to the point where that edge there is touching this edge, it'll pop off center again. So right now I'm going to go into jog mode again. And I'm going to go into increment. I'm going to go 10 thousandths and I'm going to start jogging it into that surface. It's not there yet. Okay, you saw it kick off to the side. So that's telling me that that's the edge, except for I was going 10 thousandths increments. So I'm going to back off. I'm going to go to 1 thousandths increments. I'm going to step it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, right there at 8, it just stepped off right there. So I'm going to go back one. Now I'm even again. I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to say, right about there, it's stepping off. So now I'm going to go continuous. I'm just going to raise my Z. I'm going to go to MDI, and I'm going to turn my spindle off right now. So because this is 200 thousandths diameter, I just found where the side of it was. The side of it is now touching the side of my part that I want to find. So what I'm going to do is going to go up to my screen up here, and right now I'm just going to zero out the Y where it is. So that's 0. Now if I go to MDI, I can either go MDI and tell it how far to move, or I can go to my jog page. I want to go increments. In order for the center line of the edge finder to be on the edge, I have to shift it half of this diameter, so I have to shift it 100 thousandths. So if I go to step mode and I click on 100 thousandths and I go Y plus, so right now the center line of this edge finder and my tool holder and my spindle is now right on this edge right here. And so I just found the edge. So if I go up here and I zero out the Y again, now I want to move half of the width of my cup holder. So that's the 1.815. So I'm going to go to MDI mode. I'm going to go G91, G00, Y 1.815. I'm going to hit. So right there is the middle of my cup holder in the Y axis. So right now I'm going to hit escape to get rid of that, and up here I'm going to zero it out. So my Y axis is now zeroed. So now I'm going to do the same thing in the X axis. I'm going to find this edge right here. Then I'm going to shift over 1.815, zero it out, and then we will teach this as G54, X0, Y0 for the part 0. I'm going to go to jog. I'm going to go to continuous, go X minus. So I look like I'm pretty good. I'm going to bring the Z down. Bring the X over. Okay. Start bringing the Z down again. So it was a 250,000 slot that I just dropped my 200 thousandths edge finder into. So I'm on center enough so I didn't crash it. So I'm going to turn the spindle back on. I've got an MDI mode. I'm going to go M03, S2000, enter. Going to hit hit escape to get out of MDI. And now I'm going to go back into jog mode. I'm going to go to increment. And I'm going to start walking. It's at 100 thousandths. We'll go to 10 thousandths. I'm going to start walking it, or jogging it in the X plus direction. Right there, it's already stepped out. Right there, it's away from the part. Still away. Now I'm going to go to 1,000 increments. I'm going to step it in until it kicks out. Right there, kicked out. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go in again until it kicks out. So right there, we got it kicked out. And I'm going to go to my position page, stop the spindle. I'm going to go back to jog, continuous. I'm going to jog it up in the Z to get it to a clearance point. Right now, I'm going to zero out my X on the position page up here. I'm still in jog mode. I'm going to go to the steps at 100 thousandths. So I'm going to step it over 100 thousandths. And now the center line on my spindle is now on that edge of the part. And I'm going to zero out my X. And I'm going to go into MDI. And I'm going to tell it to move half of the width of the cup holder. So I'm going to go G91, which is incremental, G00, which is a rapid move, X 1.815, which is half of the width of the cup holder. I am now going to zero it out on X. So my X and Y are zeroed right at the center there. I'm going to turn on my MDI page and hit escape to get out of there. Now I'm going to go to my tooling page, F4. I'm going to go to G54 right here. And I am going to click on my X offset and hit auto load. And on my Y offset and hit auto load. And it has now put the distance from my machine zero to that point in both X and Y in as my offset values for G54. Now I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to go back to program. And I am going to now send it home. So I'll go to MDI, let's go to MDI again. We'll go to home in Z-axis. And go to go home all axis. Now I'm going to tell it to change it to tool number 1, so it's a real tool and not my edge finder. We're going to go T01M06. It moves to the tool change position. It tells me to hit cycle start to change the tool. And now it shows tool number 1, so it's got a real tool in there. And right now, if I go to my tool offset page, the numbers that are showing for tool number 1 are pretty much the same as the numbers that are showing here. Now that I've got all that set, I'm going to turn off the control and turn it back on. Stop. Password. Control-Alt-Home. And now the numbers are correct. It's got, once you've done this, you have to turn it off and home it out with a tool in there. Now the numbers that I have in X, Y, and Z are all going to match what I have X, Y, and Z for, or for the Z for my my 1/4 inch tool, and for the X and Y for my G54 position. So we're ready to go right now.